You have been told your whole musical life to try harder, practice more, care more, give everything. And there was that specific moment, you probably had it, where you have prepared something obsessively. You have it in your hands, you can feel it in your hands, and then someone walks into the room, or you step into the audition, or you just press record, and everything collapses. Not because you didn't try hard enough, because you tried too hard. Here is what's strange about stage fright. It doesn't only happen on the stage. It attacks your technique specifically when the stakes are high. And that variable, the weight that you attach to the result, is doing something to your nervous system that no amount of additional practice will fix. We have a word for that in Transurfing: excess importance, which is the most underdiagnosed problem in music education. You are not bad under pressure. You are bad under importance. When you attach enormous importance to a result, when you need it to go well, when your sense of self is riding on that particular performance here and now, your body interprets that as a threat event. Fight or flight, cortisol, muscle tension, narrowed attention. But what does musical playing actually require? Barry Green called it relaxed awareness in the inner game of music. Tactile sensitivity, peripheral attention across the whole phrase or the whole piece of music. Trust in your body, in the fingers, to find what they have found 1,000 times. These two states are physiologically incompatible. The harder you grip, the less you feel. The more you try to control, the less control you have. That's your nervous system responding rationally to an irrational amount of importance. I've mentioned that Rhapsody 9 competition incident before, and I've thought about it for a little while. What may have caused that glitch? The first round ran across 3 or 4 days, and by the last day when I was supposed to be playing, I was still polishing the same handful of pieces. Not because they needed more work, but because the weight of the first round made stopping feel impossible. Too much importance was concentrated on too few moments. And I should have known better. I kind of did know better, but knowing doesn't override the mechanism. That's the whole point. And here is where it gets worse. Because this isn't just a performance problem, it's a practice problem. Most of us practice with kind of the same sense of urgency that we bring to a performance. We are impatient. We sit down with a sense of a mission. We need to fix this, we need to get this right. We play the difficult passage and it goes wrong, and we play it again, harder, faster, more determined, more pissed. We confuse the sensation of effort with the sensation of actual progress. And once again, we are impatient. There is a phrase I come back to with my students quite regularly: productive feeling and actual learning are not the same thing. Grinding a passage with frustration, tension, and angst doesn't teach your nervous system anything except the neurological pattern of grinding the passage with frustration, tension, and angst. You've heard the phrase, practice makes permanent. Not perfect, permanent. And if you spend that time practicing urgency, practicing anxiety, practicing the feeling that it has to go right now, that's the pattern you are installing, not the music. So what actually works? Not caring less. That's not it. You still want to play well. Your goal doesn't need to disappear either. The shift is where you place your attention. Outcome versus process. Outcome focus. Did this go well? Was that right? Am I getting better? Process focus. What do I feel in my fingers right now? Where is the breath? What is actually happening in this phrase in this moment? The moment you shift attention to the sensory present, what is actually happening, not whether it's good enough, the importance drops. Not because you forced it down, but because you gave your attention somewhere specific to go. Zealand calls this reducing the excess potential. I think of it as giving the nervous system a job that doesn't involve self-evaluation. And when there is nothing to evaluate, the pendulum steps back. 3 things that actually can help. 1. Separate your effort from verdict. The quality of your preparation and attention, fully yours to control. How the performance lands, not yours to control at all. Effort in, grip on the outcome out. 2nd, reduce the referendum. This practice session, this run-through, this performance is not a verdict on your ability as a musician. It's one data point. That's all it's allowed to be. And 3, practice performing without the charge. Run the piece as if nothing is at stake. Not sloppily, but genuinely unattached. Notice what loosens physically. Notice where the tension was actually living. You already know what this feels like. It's far easier to play in the second round of a competition than the first. It's far easier to play in the second half of the concert than the opening. And the peak of it, the encore, the offering to the audience at the end of the concert, when the verdict is already in, when you are just making music with 0 expectations. That's not an accident. That's what happens when the charge drops. When you have no expectations, no importance, you just make music. And we should, and we can build that sensation into daily practice. Not as a reward for finishing something well, as the baseline. A daily, church-like offering of music to ourselves. All of this, the effort trap, the excess importance, the practice that goes in circles, points to the same root we talked about last times. The comparison pendulum creates urgency. Urgency creates importance. Importance fragments the focus. It's a chain, and we have been cutting it at the wrong link. The musicians who perform best under pressure aren't the ones who care most. They are the ones who have learned to bring full effort and full indifference to the outcome simultaneously. This sounds impossible until you have felt it. Full intensity with a slight internal distance from the result. The Stoics had a vocabulary for this. Transurfing has a mechanism for it. The best performers have the embodied version of it. When you reduce the importance, clear the pendulums, bring full effort without charge, there is a state that becomes available. You have been there in it before, and it's far more reproducible than you probably think. And that's the next video. Be curious, be playful. Slava Ukraini!